Mike Rowe put out a commencement speech on a video for Prager University. And in it, he basically tells people, is it Prager, right?
Yes, it is.
But that's why it's funny.
That's why it's funny.
Okay.
Like,
Dennis Prager.
that's not a real university.
That's not a real thing.
There's some conservative dude
That's
who's
some-
like, oh, I will start.
That's some jagoff with a YouTube channel like me. That's all that is.
Anyway, find out more about that at Cenk University.
Oh yes. Oh, but we both did a research project together with the Dore University and the Cenk University.
Oh yeah.
And people laughed at us.
All right, so he puts out this commencement video. It's a speech telling young people that they should not follow their passion. They should follow opportunity. Take a look.
Okay. Good.
If we're talking about your hobby, by all means, let your passion lead you. But when it comes to making a living, it's easy to forget the dirty truth. Just because you're passionate about something doesn't mean you won't suck at it. And just because you've earned a degree in your chosen field, it doesn't mean you're going to find your dream job. Dream jobs are usually just that, dreams. But their imaginary existence just might keep you from exploring careers that offer a legitimate chance to perform meaningful work and develop a genuine passion for the job you already have. Because here's another dirty truth. Your happiness on the job has very little to do with the work itself.
So that is not a commencement speech. That's a video that they put out for this ridiculous university. Hey, Jimmy, would you like to do a commencement speech at Uygur University? I'm changing it from Cenk to Uygur University.
Yeah.
The UU.
Oh, I love it.
The U of you.
I see the logo already.
All right, now let's get to the substance of this non-commencement speech at this non-university. Look, he's totally wrong.
He's not totally wrong. Look, I don't.
Interesting. Okay.
So you make your argument, and then I'll make mine.
Okay. So I'll agree with him in one part in a second too, but
Yeah.
But the part that he's wrong about is if you want to work hard enough to succeed at anything, then you've got to love it. And if you love it, then you'll be able to put in all those hours you need to succeed. It's not like I love it and then I sat on my couch and I didn't do anything about it. Yeah, that passion isn't going to get you anywhere because that's not a real passion. That's like, that would be nice, right?
Yeah.
Okay, no, you got to actually do it. But if you do it, then I think you have a better chance at success.
Yeah, look, passion without ambition is a bird without wings, right? Was that beautiful?
Oh, my, the things you learn at Uygur University.
Whoa.
I read it on a shirt once. I'm not kidding. But look, I think
It's actually the motto for the U of U. Okay.
I think that, look, in certain cases, he has a point, but unfortunately, he made a general statement that he's applying to everyone. So there are instances where you might be passionate about something, but you might not have the skill necessary to succeed in it, right? And you might say, all right, well, if you really work at it, you could succeed. But there are some cases where if you don't have the talent for it, you don't have the talent. And so you could do it for a hobby, but it's unlikely that you're going to make money from it. So let's say your dream is to be a singer. You're really passionate about singing, but you have a terrible voice. Yeah, you can go to singing lessons and you can try to improve, and you probably will improve, but not to the level where you're going to be a mega superstar making millions of dollars. Same for people who want to pursue acting. Every year, thousands of people come to Los Angeles because they want to pursue acting. It's what they're passionate about, but they don't succeed, and they might be really, really talented and really skillful in it, and they still don't succeed because there are other factors at play that stand in your way of succeeding, right? Especially in Hollywood, because you need to know people, you need connections. It's all about that, to be honest with you. But I will say that just because you're passionate about something and you're not succeeding in it for financial gain doesn't mean that you have to give up on it. You should absolutely still continue doing it, but you shouldn't throw away other opportunities that you might also kind of like, and it could make you money, right? So that's what I'm just trying to say. He's not completely wrong. If you're passionate about something, by all means, still pursue it. Like, I'm passionate about dance. I grew up doing ballet, point specifically. And
Nobody puts baby in a corner.
And I did it for 17 years, but I wasn't going to be a famous ballerina who made millions of dollars. Like, come on.
Are there any ballerinas that make millions of
No,
dollars?
there aren't. So,
Passion is not enough to sustain you, is what
yes,
you're
that's
saying.
what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, and of course, I think that's true. The other thing I would just point out is that everybody thinks I'm Mike Rowe. I honestly, I get stopped all the time. Hey, you're that guy from Dirtiest Jobs. No, I'm not. I'm not. And it happened to me twice on a flight. Guy, and I'll tell you this quickly, guy walks past and goes, hey, Mike, nice to see you. I love your show. I go, hey, I'm not Mike Rowe. But he goes, yeah, I can see you are, but I... So, guy walks by, then another guy comes right after him and goes, hey, Mike Rowe. And I love him, big fan. I go, hey, man, I'm not Mike Rowe, but another guy just made that same mistake. Pleasure to meet you. And he walks past, and then we're taxiing down the runway. And the guy comes running back up to me and goes, hey, Mike, don't worry. I'm not going to tell anybody you're on this flight. Same guy, just would not believe that I wasn't Mike Rowe. So somehow there must be a similarity.
I love that we have Mike Rowe on the panel, and he won't even defend his own video.
I mean, they dress alike. Look at the picture.
Yeah, no, I mean, and the voice is kind of deep. I get it. I get it.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
Hey, how are you? Good to see you. Cenk Uygur. How are you? You of you.
I am the dean of U of U. All right, no, I'm going to disagree with Anna. So yes, of course, you have to use some degree of judgment, right? So if you're 5'4", was Muggsy Bogues 5'4"? At most, there was one NBA player who was 5'4". It is very, very, very unlikely that you'll be an NBA player. Yes, there are some things that you need some skill in and tremendous skill in. I'm not sure music is one of them. You just go under one of those underwater things. Oh, they produce the hell out of every song. No one knows how they sing anymore, right? Mm-hmm. So it's all in the production. Actor, you're right. Half of them have connections already.
Yep.
So it's super hard to make it because that one is that one's daughter and the other one's the director's son and yada yada. On the other hand, I mean, there's some actors out there that you're like, they made it. So it's not all just like unbelievable acting skill. It's more effort. Going to all the different auditions, doing all those things.
All I'm saying is, living in LA, you come across a lot of people that pursued acting, and it's their passion, and I respect them tremendously for doing that, right? But they squandered other opportunities because they're like, no, I'm going to be an actor or actress, right? And then they end up, much older, working as a waiter or waitress, and they could have succeeded in another career and done the acting. And I know actors and actresses are going to get on me because they're like, no, that's all you can do. You have to treat it as your full-time job. Always go to workshops, always go to classes, always go on auditions, fuck everything else, right? But no, you need to have a plan B. That's what I'm trying to say.
I think when you are artists generally, and I would consider actors and actresses artists,
yes.
I think that is driven first by a passion and that desire. And to be fair to all artists, it must be very, very difficult not to be able to pursue that passion. And musicians, I also include. It's tough to make a living as a musician.
Yes.
A lot of the time, you're playing weddings and bar mitzvahs, and you really want to be making different kind of music. So I like taking the shot for your passion.
Yes.
But I think it's a fair point. You've got to accept life's realities and limitations. And maybe, as Cenk says, I understand you want to be a fashion model, but you're only 5'2" and you're a little overweight. And you got to be 6 feet tall, and you got to be super thin. Maybe look, I didn't set up the rules. That's just the way it is. So, the runway is not for you.
I think. Can I just say I agree? There's a lot to what Anna's saying, and it's especially, but coming from someone like myself who did follow his passion, who did throw everything caution to the wind, and was ridiculed by a lot of people. Even when I told people in the comedy community in Chicago that I was moving to LA. A lot of them shit on me, right? A lot of them tried to, kick it out of you.
Yeah, where are they now?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. In fucking Minnesota, sucking dick. That's where they are.
Not that there's anything wrong with
Doing
That's a great state to do that.
Yeah, doing corporate gigs and being squeaky clean, doing shit they don't want to do, and I get to do exactly what I want to do, that's a win. So that's why it's tough for me. What he's saying is if you have a passion for something that you don't have talent for, find something else you have a passion for. Mm-hmm. I don't think it's like, hey, find a job that you don't like. And by the way, being a waiter or a waitress, I don't think is a tough job. Like I know guys, like when I used to be a bricklayer before I was a comedian, and I remember working with these guys who were like 50 years old, 55 years old. I'm like, how the fuck do they do it? Like I was dead. I'm 23 years old. I'm coming home, holy shit. And these guys are twice my age and everything. And so I'm sure they would much rather be in an air-conditioned place, having food. And so I'm just saying that that's not that horrible of a job. I think that most jobs are horrible.
I don't think, by the way, I'm not saying being a waiter or a waitress is horrible at all. look, my fiance is a bartender. I love him, and he enjoys his job, and that's all that matters, right? I'm just saying that don't squander other opportunities because you think that there's only one thing that you're passionate about. Sometimes you might find other things really interesting and really enjoy it.
That's the thing about life, man. It is super hard to tell. It doesn't come with an instruction manual.
But you gotta
And
try things. Try it. You'll
Yeah.
like it. Like, you never know, right?
I
well,
used to say that when I was dating a lot.
So, in one of the things that Rowe talked about, he talked about a multimillionaire septic tank cleaner, right? And he said, I looked around and everybody else was headed one way and I headed the other way. Well, I love that kind of talk because he found his own way. And even if it might have been septic tanks, he made a great living out of it and he was happy to do that. But, and Anna, sometimes you're absolutely right, but it's so hard to tell when.
Right.
Yeah.
Because Jimmy followed his passion at work, I followed my passion at work, and so, you know, it's hard for me to tell someone else not to follow their passion. And by the way, I used to be a lawyer, and I think that was the world's worst job. I remember literally thinking I would rather shovel shit for a living than to do this, because at least it's an honest day's work.
Yeah.
And so I left before the money set in, and a lot of people said the same thing you're saying, said the same thing that they said to Jimmy, like, you're fucking crazy, you're making a lot of money, are you nuts? Now you're gonna be a radio talk show host on the weekends, you idiot. And I did, I struggled for 15 long years making terrible, terrible pay. But I believed. But it wasn't just believing. Believe me, that's the thing that I want you to focus on. Because whether you do what Anna's saying or what I say, what is absolutely essential is the hard work that comes with it.
Yes.
I sent my radio tape to 400 stations, got 2 part-time jobs out of it. So if you're gonna do it all the way. That's my take on it.
Well, here is the difference, right? So me doing stand-up comedy, it didn't matter what they paid me. I was going to do it anyway. Like, you're going to pay me on top of this? Unfucking believable that I get paid to do this. Because I would pay them. You know, it's like, hey, you want to come do a set at the Improv? Yeah, how much is it going to cost me? You know, because I would definitely pay them to do stand-up comedy, but they pay me. It is unbelievable. So that's the thing. Like, if people who really do have passions, and even if they don't make a living out of it, I don't think they care that much because they get to do what they want every day. And to me, that's the most important thing. And it always was like, when I was a comedian, I was making $500 a week as a opening act, as a comedian, sleeping on couches in the middle of the fucking country. I thought I had it dicked. And I did. And I did. I really did, because I was super happy. I got to do my show every night. I was the center of attention. I still got to pay my bills. It was the greatest. And I didn't have a job or a boss. I didn't give a shit. It was so great.
So look, but here's the reality, you know, to the conversation we're having. Like, you aren't just passionate about one thing. You're passionate about comedy, but you're also passionate about doing what you do here.
Yes.
So I think most people are passionate about a lot of different things, but don't even really acknowledge it, right? So I'm super passionate about what I do here, obviously, but I'm also passionate about teaching, which is why as soon as I have an opportunity, I try to teach at universities and stuff. So I'm passionate about yoga. I mean, if I had time, I would be a certified yoga instructor and do that as well. So just be open to different ideas, because it's likely that you have more than just one passion.
The last thing on passion is, the problem is oftentimes you can't make money at your passion.
Yeah.
And you're hearing from people who are lucky. Jimmy's made money. Cenk's built an entire, enterprise that has really fed his passion and also the passions of others. This is an extraordinary panel in that sense. Oftentimes, especially I'll get back to artists, musicians, whatever it might be, you have to pursue your art on the outside, in addition to the practical opportunities that Mike Rowe talks about. Mike Rowe made that was a tactical move he made in his life, right? To go for the septic tank thing or whatever, That's not a passion of his. That was assessing the market and going, would be something that I could do well at. I mean, from a commercial standpoint, right? Then my passion is something else. I'm just saying the two can often coexist. Oftentimes you can't make money at the passion. I suspect, most of us can't make money at our real passions.
It's amazing that he's still pretending not to be Mike Rowe.
I know.
I know.
Okay.
And he's right about that. Sometimes you can't make money at your real passions because no one will pay me to watch porn.
So I'll leave it on the Jimmy Dore rule, right? So think about it that way. The minute I walked out of the studio, the first talk show I ever did, I thought, I'm doing that the rest of my life. I love that. So the Dore rule is I would pay to do that, right? If you're doing it, whether it's acting, music, whatever it might be, because you want to get famous or you want to get rich, but you don't love the craft of acting or music, etc., then you might want to rethink what you think your passion is. But if you do it for free anyway, you just love it to death, and you're really honest with yourself, and you're willing to do that 12 hours a day, 15 hours a day, even if you don't get paid, then I would say follow your passion. But if you do, make sure you work your ass off at it.